everyone, 'tis I, Demonic Witch. Let's see, I've gotten my dad tribute aimed the other way. I've ranted about what's in Girl Baptist Church. What's next? My first impression of Twilight. Finally. I've been meaning to do this for quite some time. 6 months, if not more. But before we begin, let me tell you an abridged version of how I got into this mess. It all started last year when Twilight was beginning to pick up in popularity. Because, hey, we'll need a new Harry Potter. What's the next best thing? Like a fantasy for tween girls and teen girls about a hot guy. So, anyway, I had heard some good things about it, keyword some, from people on the message boards, visitors of a local comic book shop I used to visit frequently, and some convention goers when I went to A-Con for the very first time. Of course, it was like, I was informed that it was a vampire romance. And I think that's where it started going downhill, because when I heard that, it was like, sign me up! At which point, of course, I think I pulled the same card that Sonic fans pulled when they first caught wind of Project Needle Mouse, now called Sonic 4. When they saw the first teaser trailer, and it's like, oh my goodness, we're finally gonna get a new 2D Sonic game, so they can finally listen to us. And then you see the 2.5D game, and it's like, I think it was like that with me, because it was like, yes, yay, vampire romance. And of course, we get the whole thing with Stephen King and how he doesn't like it, fan backlash there, and of course I visit a forum called Scribophile, or a site called Scribophile. I visit the boards there, and I visit the forums at tokyopop.com and see a bunch of criticism for the book there. At which point I think to myself, alright, fine, I'll finally read this darn thing, see why a lot of people don't like it. So I asked my brother to read it. By the way, that's whose copy I'm holding in my read to, or response to, blow himself up to his Twilight review. You can find that on my channel. And first, go through the whole Genesis quote and shrug that off, along with the whole immortality sucks. What's the best way to die if you live forever? The BS. Which is why I believe everyone keeps calling this book emo, or book for emos, but I'm getting ahead of myself. And then of course I cut to the first part where Bella's moving in with her dad. It's slow, it's boring, it's pointless. Which brings me to another off-topic point for those of you who are watching this review on our first impression on TwilightSix.com, who've read that rough draft of my manuscript. The reason why it seems so pointless and boring, or at least the first chapter does, is because of the following. When I was 17 and I wrote that book, my first impression is that's how novels start. Slow, pointless, boring. Twilight seems to fit that stereotype that I created for novels, for myself. And it gets worse, in my opinion, because a good chunk of the book is padding. And for the 2% of you who don't understand what padding is, let me explain it to you. Padding is basically where a series of scenarios are written within a story, just to add some substance to the story, but they add nothing to the plot. Absolutely nothing. The fact that we have to go through a series of pages and chapters of Bella explaining to us what she goes through every single day at school and then at home, and how she constantly describes Edward as petty. It's pointless, it's nonsensical, it has nothing to do with the plot. And oh boy, what else? Oh yeah, the only build-up is to the fact that Edward's a vampire. And even that's pretty weak and watered down padding. And the only interesting bits for me was when Edward saved Bella from getting crushed by Tyler's car, and Jacob's little explanation of the vampire and werewolf legends, and Bella's little nightmare. And another thing is the filler characters. I actually like Eric, Tyler, Mike, Jessica. Up until my brother had to basically smash my nuts with a sledgehammer and inform me that they were filler characters, i.e. they hold no importance to the story whatsoever. Piss me off. So, in short, what's my first impression? Oh, one more thing. I finally get why on Twilight Sucks and Scribophile people have been stressing me to do this one thing in writing my story. Show, don't tell. There is like a series of scenarios where it's like we're being told something. Like when Edward describes what it's like for him and his family to hunt. He explains it, and of course me, I'm reading this going, ooh, that's kind of interesting. They get a little more animalistic when they hunt in the woods. Do we get a sample, or do we ever get to see this in action? No? Alright, fine. And of course, there's one scene when Bella is taken to the hospital after the whole car accident, and she describes the doctor being more handsome than any Hollywood actor she's seen. How? I can't believe, with all my faults in writing, I am asking this. Describe the characters in detail. The only person who ever gets described in any sort of detail to where we can picture him is Edward. And even that's over-exaggerated. He's godlike. He's more perfect than an angel, and that couple of stories of that, or a couple of times reading that has made me sick. The first time he was described was good. Why she feels the need to over-exaggerate everything he does is beyond me. So, bottom line, first impression, this book sucks. I'm Bonnie Remsen. I'll see you all in the next video.